Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm Stephanie. It's nice to meet you. We'll just keep a nice, simple, basic flow today. Really perfect for beginners or those who practice regularly is also awesome too. All you need is a nice open space. Don't even need a yoga mat, need nothing of the sorts, just a nice large space around you and just about 35 minutes or so. So you can begin by taking a seat on your mat. You can sit cross-legged. You can allow your legs to be however is comfortable. You want to make sure to slide the skin away from your sit bones, just gently pulling the skin away, helping to root the sit bones into the earth or ground. And then when you're ready, allowing the shoulders to kind of relax down from the ears. You might even give your arms a little wiggle to make sure they're relaxed. And on your next inhale, you'll take a nice deep breath, allowing the spine to sit nice and tall, the shoulders to stack over the hips. And allowing the top or the crown of head to just lift directly up to the ceiling or sky, if you're lucky enough to be outside. And as you start to take a few breaths, just observe how the body feels. Notice maybe the temperature of your breath, the pace of your breath. You start to allow the air to enter and exit only through the nostrils, if possible. You might soften the expression on the face, maybe smile just a tiny bit. And as you continue breathing in and out through the nose, be sure that on your inhales that your belly is rising, expanding on the inhale to fill with air, and exhaling, belly contracts or retreats back to the spine, air releases. On the inhale, belly fills and expands. On the exhales, belly contracts to spine, and the air releases slowly and evenly. Take maybe 5 more equal part breaths, allowing the inhales to equal the length of your exhales. You can even allow the eyes to close if you like, or gaze down at the mat. As you take 1 or 2 more breaths, notice if you started to lean forwards a little bit. Again, you'll just sit nice and tall, keeping the shoulders to stack over hips. And again, taking 1 last equal part breath. The next time you inhale, just go ahead and open the eyes if they were closed. You'll uncross the legs or the feet. And then you can just allow the sit bones to root into the mat, the feet to walk away, and you'll keep a nice firm low back to come into a variation of boat pose or Navasana. So lower back stays nice and firm, body's in a V-like shape, and you'll pull the belly into the spine to protect the low back. You can lift the heels, just allowing the tippy toes to help you to balance, and then you can feel comfortable to adjust however is needed. You can keep the toes connected to the ground, you can allow 1 leg to lift, or both legs to lift. You can keep the knees squeezing together a little bit or separate the knees a bit more. Then you can keep the hands connected here underneath the knees, or if you're nice and comfortable, or somewhat comfortable, and your low back is still nice and flat and straight here, allow the legs to straighten completely, maybe the arms to even straighten, and if that low back is still firm, you can release both arms, keeping the chest lifted, taking 3 or 4 breaths. In and out through nose. One more long breath. And on the exhale, the feet will come back down. You can just bring the hands behind you, maybe fingertips facing behind, and just separate the feet a little bit, allowing your knees to kind of just toss from one side to the other, kind of making a windshield wipers with your knees, softening in the hips, maybe allowing a bit of cracking. You're slowly warming up the hip joints. And then as you come back up to your seat, you can just come up to the top of your mat, nice cross-legged seat, and just bring both palms into your chest here. You're going to press the palms together and then draw the shoulder blades together behind the back. You can keep the gaze at the fingertips or the mat, and slowly on your inhale, press into both palms as you lengthen and look up. And exhale just to fold the hands back down to the sides. Sending the energy in and up. Inhaling to look up. Exhaling, just allow arms to float down. Just 1 or 2 more times, nice and slow. And the next time you can just bring both palms back to the center again, both palms back up on the inhale, and this time just twist over to your right, allowing here your right hand to come behind your back and left hand to come to the right or left leg, depending on how deep of a twist you'd like. As you set that right hand behind your back, try to draw it nice and close to the bottom so that the spine stays nice and tall. You'll lengthen through the top of head on inhale, and exhale to begin to twist to your right. Lifting a little on the inhale, exhaling to twist only as much as is comfortable. You might turn the gaze over the right shoulder. And even though your chest is twisted or compromised, try to take a nice full breath, still feeling that belly rise or expand on the inhale, taking 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and exhale, unwind back to the center, draw the palms together, pressing them together as you gaze up and lengthen on the inhale. And exhale, left hand will come behind the back, right arm to left or right knee. More soft twist or a deeper twist. And the hand will come nice and close to the bottom. You'll lift up on the inhale and exhale, twisting over towards the left. Keep nice broad collarbones and bring the gaze over the left shoulder. Again, expanding the belly on inhale, taking 2 breaths. Try not to feel the sense of rush. Next time you exhale, you'll unwind back to the center. This time just place both hands in front of you, and you can find your way over to a tabletop position. You'll allow the knees to root right underneath the hips and the wrists to root right under the shoulders. As you press down into the wrists, try to use not just the wrists but all 10 fingers as well. Some people like to keep here in the tabletop position, their toes curled under. I prefer to rest my tops of feet, it's totally up to you. Do make sure in your neutral tabletop position that your belly isn't sinking or sagging down here. You want to keep it nice and lifted, kind of parallel to the ground, rib cage lifted with the belly. So the inhale will allow the belly to come down, then the head and hips to tilt up. And the exhale, you'll find a nice rounding back. The space between shoulder blades opens, chin to chest. Inhale, belly will draw down, head and hips lift. And exhale to round the back, belly draws into spine, gazing towards navel or toes or knees. So here you'll just continue inhaling on that upward motion, keeping a chest lift and the tailbone tilted. On the exhale, you'll round the back here. Try not to rush again, just try to move with the pace of the breath, allowing your movements to follow the breath rather than allowing the breath to follow the movement. Take maybe 1 or 2 more. Expanding the chest on inhale, allowing the air to enter the backs of lungs on exhale, or exhale, allowing the air to really come to the back of the body. And the next time that you inhale, the belly will dip down, the head and hips will tilt up, and give the toes a curl under here. So just curl them under once, and then curl them as close as you can, bring the toes towards the knees, and press actively back through the heels to bring a nice stretch to the backs or bottoms of feet. Full breath in and out, lengthening head to tailbone or heels. And the next time you exhale, then lift the knees and hips all the way towards your downward facing dog here. So just a few notes. It'll keep a nice pressure, even pressure through both hands, grip through the fingertips as well. And you'll notice that as I'm here, my knees are slightly bent. My arms are sort of parallel to the spine. And you're pressing the hips away from the hands to find a nice space in spine and back, as well as a nice opening in the chest. So the knees can stay bent to kind of protect the hamstrings if the legs aren't quite warm enough. Some people just don't have as much flexibility to reach the heels towards the ground. Although as you start to practice, it'll become much easier. So whether or not my knees are bent or my heels touch the ground, you'll notice that the parallelness of my arms to my back does not change. You're always keeping that nice long spine here. Taking one more full breath. And the exhale, you'll bend the knees, gaze ahead, and just take several steps towards the top of your mat to a forward fold called Uttanasana. You can separate the feet a little bit if that's comfortable. You can allow the arms to hang or dangle, or even allow the hands to grab your opposite elbows. A small little bend to the knees will help to protect the low back. You can be still or sway side to side, warming backs of legs a bit. And then just slowly bring the hands towards the shins here. You're going to press into the shins, lift up halfway on your inhale to a nice flat back looking ahead. On the exhale, you'll fold, head softens towards shins. On the inhale, you'll rise up one vertebra at a time till the hands come all the way to the ceiling. And then exhale, we'll send the palms down to the heart. Here again, pressing the palms together, the shoulders roll up and back, shoulder blades towards the spine. On the inhale, both palms lengthen. On the exhale, you'll bend to fold forwards, Uttanasana. Again, the hands come to shins, you'll lift halfway on the inhale. Exhale to fold, head to shins. And inhale slowly again, rise, maybe rounding the back slightly as you come up vertebra by vertebra, palms all the way up. And you'll exhale to send palms back to the heart. So one full sun salutation. Inhale to lift the palms and gaze. Exhale to bend from the hips to fold forwards. Hands to shins, you'll inhale on the lift, halfway, flat back. Exhale this time, hands plant to the ground, again an even pressure. You can step back with one foot and follow with the next, coming to your nice plank position here. You'll notice that my body is kind of parallel to the ground and the heels are pressing away from the head to keep the low back from dipping down. You'll keep that nice even pressure through the palms. You'll lengthen head to toe, keeping the gaze down so your neck is nice and long. And take 3 to 5 more breaths, depending on the length of your breath. Maybe one more breath from wherever you are. And then this time we're just gonna drop the knees down here on the exhale, allow the tops of feet to come to the ground. And keeping the elbows as close as you can to the ribs, or slowly lower all the way down to the belly here. Your elbows might have splayed out, so you'll draw the elbows back into the rib cage, press into the hands, roll the shoulders up and back on the inhale. So kind of a little cobra here, elbows hugging to the ribs. Notice that when you initially come up, you kind of find a round in your chest or shoulders. Try to roll the shoulders up and back to expand the chest and lengthen head to toe again. This time on your exhale, the toes will curl under, and just as before, the hips will lift up and away from the hands towards your downward facing dog. Feel free to always shorten your stance here if that's more comfortable. You can do so by walking the feet closer to the hands, or keep them just as they were when you landed. You'll send the hips away from the hands so the arms are nice and kind of level or parallel towards the spine. You can again keep the nice bend to the knees, or allow heels to straighten a bit more. Some people really like to just kind of take a few pedals or kind of walk in place, bending one knee, straightening one leg, and alternating to kind of allow a little bit more warmth to the backs of legs. So whether you're moving or whether you're in complete stillness, take another 2 or 3 breaths. Nice even pressure through the hands. Try to grip with the fingertips, especially if you're slipping a little. And again on the exhale, a nice bend in the knees. You'll look ahead and just take a few walks. If you want to step or hop in one step or one hop, that's fine too. Hands will come to the shins. You'll lift halfway on the inhale. Exhale to fold. And inhale, slowly rise up. If you get dizzy at all, you can always keep the chin drawn to the chest until you come all the way up. And exhale to send the palms to your heart. Inhale, back up. Exhale, bending from hips to your forward fold or Uttanasana. Halfway up on the inhale, flatten the back. Exhale, palms to the mat, a step back to that plank position. This time you're going to shift the weight forward so shoulders are over the wrists, and keeping the elbows close just as before, you're going to slowly lower down. You can come all the way to the ground or flip to the tops of your feet, kind of hovering and gliding back up on the inhale, opening the chest. You can gaze ahead if there's any issues in neck, or all the way up if it's comfortable. Again, you'll exhale, curling the toes under and pressing the hips away from hands. Back to down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. For 3 to 5 breaths, be still, pedal, move, whatever feels best for you. Just keep the inhales nice and even to the exhales, even or equal. The next exhale, whenever that comes, you'll bend the knees and look ahead. You can step or hop or travel however you need to the top of mat, halfway up on the inhale, exhale to fold, and inhale back up to standing. Gaze can come up, exhale, palms will come back to the heart. So just to keep a few simple standing postures, you'll step up to the top of the mat. If you've shifted, you'll keep the right foot at the top and take a large step back with the left foot. You might immediately kind of widen the stance here so that your feet are the width of your mat apart. You can always shorten or lengthen your stance as well. You're going to lift the back left heel, press actively into it so you find a nice stretch in the front left hip. You can keep the palms at the heart, hands on your thigh, or if nice and comfortable, allow the arms to come all the way to the ceiling. And although you're lengthening through the fingertips, try to keep the shoulders relaxed here. Don't want the shoulders to be creeping up to the ears. Find a nice focal point on the ground or straight ahead and find 3 to 5 breaths. Keep pressing through the back heel. Make sure that the front knee is directly over your ankle here. So the next time you find your exhale, both palms are just going to release to the mat to frame that front right foot. You're going to keep the left hand to the ground so it's right underneath your shoulder, and inhale to open the right arm to the ceiling. So as you open, that right knee might splay out a little bit. Try to pull that right inner thigh in so the knee is again directly over the ankle, inner thigh hugging into chest. And you can gaze up at the ceiling. If you're balanced or have no issues with neck, feel free to gaze ahead or even down at the mat too. Still pressing through that back left heel and lengthening head to heel. Maybe 2 more breaths. And on the exhale this time, again, the right hand's going to come down to frame that right foot. You're going to slowly soften down to the left knee here. So before we continue moving, make sure your hands are connected to the ground and your back toes are curled under. Just lift your left knee a little bit and kind of shimmy your left foot back. Then set the left knee down and slowly pull forwards a bit so you're not pressing directly on the kneecap. You can relax the back foot or keep the toes curled under. I prefer mine relaxed. And when you're ready, coming up to kind of a lower lunge, hands again can stay at that thigh. Hands can come into your heart, or arms can come all the way up. Again, shoulders relaxed. So what you're again looking for is the front knee to be directly over the ankle. And you're allowing the hips to kind of soften, sinking almost down or forward just a little bit. Glutes need to relax a little, soften. Maybe 3 more nice, full, even breath. If you're comfortable in your practice, you can pull the belly in and take a nice back bend as well on the exhale. Again, only if that's comfortable or no issues in the low back. And for more Agni Warrior, exhale 1 more time to bring both hands down to frame that front foot. You'll curl the back toes under and press back all the way to the downward facing dog. So toes curl under, hips press away from the hands. Take 1 or 2 long breaths to kind of reset. And then we'll just switch those feet. So this time the left foot's going to come to the front of the mat. The right toes will curl under. You'll press through that right heel. Also, if when you step forwards you kind of can't get that foot all the way, feel free to use your hand to assist that foot all the way to the top of the mat. When you're ready, slowly contracting the inner thighs a little bit, really pressing through that left big toe. You'll come up to that high lunge once more. Again, front knee directly over the ankle. You might widen the stance for better balance or shorten or lengthen the stance. And find that nice stretch in the front right hip. Hands in the thigh, hands in prayer, opening the chest. Or if nice and balanced, arms lift, but the shoulder blades travel down and into the spine here. Take maybe 2 or 3 more breaths. Really allowing the air to enter to all parts of the lungs, body, and inhale. And next exhale, hands release again to frame that front foot. Right hand comes directly underneath the shoulder. And you'll inhale to open the left arm to the ceiling. Again, the left knee will be right over the ankle, left ankle. Keep the gaze down or up. You're lengthening head to heel here. Maybe 2 more breaths. And on the exhale, hands will come back down to frame that left foot. The hands will support so that right knee softens down to the mat. And again, with the support of those hands, you'll lift the right knee, shimmy the foot back a little so the knee travels further behind, set it down, and slowly pull it forwards. And then start to relax the glutes just a little bit. You'll use support of both hands to come up to the thigh, or to draw hands into prayer, or to send the arms all the way up again on the inhale, but allow those shoulder blades to come down into the spine on exhale. That opens up the chest, collarbones. Again, the glutes relax a little so the hips can sink forwards, really looking for that stretch in the front of your hip. Right hip this time. Again, if really comfortable with your practice or where you are right now, you can make sure the belly's pulled into the spine, lift a little on the inhale, and exhale to a small or large back bend. If you ever feel any pain now, or throughout any type of your practice for that matter, always ease out. Next exhale, hands will release back to the ground. You'll curl the back toes under and press one more time back to that downward facing dog just to reset. If you'd like to pedal or kind of walk it out, feel free, or you can just be still. Feet are about hips distance apart or so. I need 2 more breaths. And on the next exhale, the knees will bend. You'll look ahead and then take your way or make your way to the top of your mat however you need. Hands come to shins. Lift halfway on the inhale to flatten the back. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. And inhale, slowly rise up to standing. Finding the length. And exhaling to send palms to heart. Again, if you've shifted back a little, you'll take a step to the top of mat. And one really wide step back so you can use the whole length of your mat or whatever surface you're using. You're going to make sure that your stance or your feet are wider than your hips and feet are nice and parallel to each other. You can always shorten or widen the stance. We'll find that length again on inhale, sending the arms up, gaze up, taking a full breath. And exhale to bend from the hips, allowing the hands to come towards the ground. So if it's possible, do try to bring the hands to the ground. If that means you need to shorten your stance or find a little bend to the knees, or even come up to the fingertips or place your hands on something else, it's totally fine. Just make it accessible for you. So again, if you're comfortable or super comfortable and your hands are touching the ground fully, you can widen the stance. And then when you're ready, wherever your hands are or fingertips are, whatever surface is supporting your hands, you want to lean the weight forwards a little bit. So you're sending the weight forwards towards the toes, head, or hands, which takes the weight out of your bottom and really opens the backs of legs a bit further. Trying to keep the shoulders relaxed. Might even, if you're comfortable, take in little tilts of the head side to side. And take a few more breaths, just trying to naturally allow the body or notice that the body naturally travels further towards the ground on the exhale. By no means do you have to come down as far as I am. You're just allowing the exhales to soften the body. One more full breath. And bringing the hands back. If you've shifted them, you'll keep the hands under the shoulders and lift up halfway on the inhale. And just start to heel till your feet closer together so you come all the way back to that forward fold in the center of your mat. Doesn't matter which direction you're facing. You can take a little sway side to side. You can use the hands to grab opposite elbows. It's like a little rag doll. You can keep a little bend to the knees or straighten the legs. Just allowing the upper body to soften a little bit. And for one more little chest opener here, you keep in your forward fold, your feet separated a little bit to maintain better balance. And slowly, when you're ready, draw both hands up towards the ceiling. If you can comfortably, you'll interlace all 10 fingers, wrapping them together. If that does not work, you can wrap one hand around a few fingers. You can grab the forearms if you like, or if you have a piece of clothing or something, or kind of scarf or something, you can always pick that up and wrap it or bind it together, or a towel together as well. So however far you can get those hands to come together, you're opening the chest, rolling the shoulders up and back, and with whatever you're grabbing, hands, towel, whatever it is that you have, you're lifting the hands towards the ceiling as much as is comfortable, or slightly a little bit of discomfort here, but no pain. You're trying to keep the opening in chest, the shoulder blades together, the hands lifted as high as possible. It might only come a little bit. You'll just kind of continue breathing, focusing on those full breaths rather than the slight discomfort you might feel. Really make sure the head and neck are relaxed. One last long breath. Fill on the inhale. And on the exhale, release those hands back to the shins. You'll press up halfway on the inhale. Exhale, send the hands to the ground. You'll step back to a plank position one last time. And then you'll soften down to the knees this time. Allow the tops of feet to come to the ground. And slowly lower all the way down to your belly here. So from your belly, you'll keep those hands planted right under the shoulders, elbows hugging in towards your rib cage. You'll press into the hands. When you're ready, you're just going to lift the chest a little bit here. So shoulders roll up and back. They're kind of elbows pointing towards the toes. The inner thighs can squeeze together. If there's no issues in the low back, you can lift the feet an inch or two off the ground. So you're not really looking up here, but more kind of ahead of the top of mat, or even at the top of your mat, to keep a long neck, long spine. If you're really comfortable here as well, want to work the core just a little bit more, you can even lift the hands an inch or so off the ground. Still lengthening head to toe. Make sure those inner thighs squeeze together here. Take 2 or 3 breaths. On the next exhale, you'll release the belly all the way down to the ground. Just let the hands come down, all the muscles in the body to relax. You can set the forehead or cheek to the mat, completely relaxing the muscles, letting the spine settle for a moment. Really noticing the air come to the backs of your lungs on your inhales, and your heart rate to slow down on your exhales. And slowly, when you're ready, you'll just lift the gaze or head back to the top of the mat. You'll press back into the hands and just come back up on the inhale through that tabletop position. This time you can keep the knees as they are under the hips, or kind of widen the knees the width of the mat, tops of feet coming to the ground, and you'll slowly sit the bottom back towards the heels. You might not come all the way, just come as far as is comfortable here. You have your choice of relaxing your head or neck as much as is comfortable. Your forehead might even come to the ground or mat. You can allow the fingertips to really connect to the ground, even walk them up a little, find a nice stretch under arms. Or you might just completely let go and let the elbows relax, let the arms relax. Taking a few really long breaths, allowing the blood pressure to slow, the heart rate to slow. The next time you inhale, you'll press back through the hands, lift up through that tabletop position. And then you can just allow, when you're ready, your body to just kind of come down onto your back, however's nice and comfortable. As you come down to the back, you might slowly pull the knees in towards the chest, maybe wrapping hands around shins. You can allow the knees to separate a little bit, totally letting the hips, inner thighs relax. You can also slowly rock side to side if you like. Releasing the hips, inner thighs. And then you're just going to slowly bring both knees back together. If they were separated, you can completely relax the hands to the mat. And bring, when you're ready, the feet up to the ceiling. Legs don't have to be perfectly straight. Just allowing the feet to come up to the ceiling. You might even give your ankles a few circles or play with the feet a little bit, allowing the blood flow or circulation to kind of reverse. Take a few more breaths, just keeping the feet lifted. If the stillness is super uncomfortable for you, again, you can make some circles. You can even make more larger circles with the legs too. And then you'll slowly just bring the feet back down and the knees towards the chest. And then just drop the knees over to one side of your mat. So maybe to the right first. Allow the knees to slowly just kind of fall, the legs to relax as much as possible. Don't worry if the left side of your body, hips or bottom or left shoulder lifts off the mat. Just allowing the arms to relax as best you can and your gaze to turn in the opposite direction of your knees. You can keep your eyes open or close them. Loving a nice reclining twist here. Just as in the beginning, although the chest is compromised in the twist, try to really still fill the belly on inhale. Take 3 breaths. As you come back up on the inhale, it'll just unwind back up to the back. The knees will come back up. You might just kind of neutralize the spine for a moment, allowing the knees to come to the chest, or again, allowing the hips to open and relax. And when you're ready, the knees will just drop down nice and slow to the opposite side. Just let them fall wherever they do. Again, no problem if the right shoulder lifts off the mat or right side of your body. You'll turn the gaze when you're ready, the opposite direction of the knees. Eyes open or closed. Taking 3 full breaths, allowing that belly to rise on the inhale. And next time you inhale once more, you bring the knees back up to the chest. You can move in any way, just taking a moment to stretch or move however you need. You might allow the legs to come down, the arms to reach overhead, take a full body stretch. You can continue moving however is needed. If you're nice and comfortable and relaxed, you can just allow the body to relax completely to the ground. When you're ready, you can allow the ankles to kind of lift and separate the width apart of your mat, ankles to roll open. The hands can relax wherever is comfortable. If you allow the palms to face upwards, you might invite a sort of more receptive feeling. Or you can feel free to flip the palms down, trying to find a little bit more centeredness or sense of being grounded. You might also just relax both hands on the belly or one hand on the belly or the chest. Allowing yourself to kind of let go of that equal part breath. If you have a hard time focusing, it's nice to still focus on the equal part breath to kind of keep the mind focused on one thing. But if you're nice and relaxed and able to kind of let go of feeling like you have to focus on something, then you'll let go of that attention to that equal or even breath and just breathe however is most natural to you. Letting the inhales and exhales just come and go with ease. Letting go of any effort. And really allowing all muscles to be relaxed, the body to feel nice and heavy. You can keep the eyes closed or open if that's more comfortable. And even allow just the corners of the mouth to turn upward or bring yourself just the tiniest smile. Again, continually letting the air enter and exit with such ease. Noticing the air come through the nostrils, air to leave through the nostrils. Take a moment just to reflect on the practice. You might end lying down and relaxed where you are. Or if you're comfortable, you'll move as slowly as you need. Maybe rolling slowly to one side, allowing the body to relax on the side for a moment. When you're ready, you'll just slowly press back up. You can again stay nice and relaxed if relaxed lying down, or if you'd like to come back up to your seat, you'll return nice and slow to that cross-legged seat that you began with, allowing the sit bones to root into the mat, maybe sliding the skin away from the sit bones. Just trying to relax the face, shoulders, head and neck, maybe keeping the eyes closed still. Again, if lying down you're still relaxed, just stay as relaxed as you can, whichever place you choose. And take 3 last breaths, more conscious breaths, paying again attention to the inhale. Allowing a slow, even exhale. 2 more breaths. And then just from wherever you are, again, you'll bring both palms together in front of the heart, maybe allowing the thumbs to grace the chest. You'll slightly bow the head to the hands, and take just a moment to acknowledge your practice. Thank you for making time for yourself today and for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Feel free to come back and find me again in another video of another length or practice. Thank you.